Good morning, students. Welcome back. Before we start with the next lecture, please let me remind you of submission of your assignments on due date. Please be punctual and do not take extra time. The instructions are also given to you regarding the uploading of your uh, answers of your assignments on the given email ID of the assignment and if you still are not able to get the assignments, please visit the school's website and you will find the assignments on the website itself. And once again, I remind you to please leave your comments after going through the lecture. These comments will be helpful for future lectures. If there is any doubts or something which you want to suggest for future lectures, please comment on the lectures. So students, today we'll start with the next topic from the same chapter. As you all know that this chapter is very long and it's almost more than 100 pages, and we have to cover all the topics from the this chapter. So therefore each and every topic will take a little bit of time. So uh, please be patient for the completion of the chapter. So the topic that we are going to take up today is the modulation. Now, what is modulation? Modulation is converging or converting a signal into some other form. As we have studied about the modulation and demodulation from the device modem, which stand for modulation and demodulation. So, how did this modulation happens? What type of various modulations are there? All we are going to study in this topic. Now, first of all, what is signal modulation? Now, see, modulation basically is a certain type of signal which is getting carried away through a particular carrier wave. Already, a carrier wave is in the atmosphere, and how do we merge these signals into the carrier wave so that they can be transmitted from one place to another place? So this is basically the modulation. So modulation is the process of changing the parameter of a carrier signal in accordance with the instantaneous values of modulating signal. So the carrier signal is the signal through which we send the message from one place to another, and the modulating signal is the actually the sound or waves or the signals that we want the carrier waves to carry from one place to another place. Now here two terms will be used, you know, uh, very frequently. So let me clarify those terms. The very first term is amplitude. What basically is amplitude? Amplitude is a vertical form of waves where a a wave is identified in a vertical manner in which you can have a peak or a valley, and there are certain points which are covered from reaching you know from the source to the destination. The other term that is used is frequency. So frequency is the number of points the number of points in the amplitude which are covered in a particular time slice, that is a particular given time. So these are the two uh, you know uh, terms which are used frequently. So we'll continue with the signal modeling. As you can see, the modulation signal is given to you in the diagram. A signal is there, and now we are changing this signal or the carrier signal into the modulation signal. So as you can see, the resultant of the modulated carrier signal is, you know uh, is modulated or is converted into a certain type of signal which is required to send the message from one place to another place. Now, why do we need modulation? What is the need of modulation? The very first need of modulation is high range transmission. That means the transmission of message or the information from one place to another at very long distances, because long distances do not cover in a wired medium. If we want to send some signal over to some other country or to some other state, then we cannot use the wired type of technology. So here the signals are, you know which are in the atmosphere, we use those signals, so we send the messages through wireless technologies. Secondly, the quality of transmission. So from the sender to the receiver, the quality of transmission does not deteriorate or degrade as in case of your wired technology, because due to the resistance in the wire, the signals may degrade after a certain distance. To avoid the overlapping of signals, now the wired signals are a sort of signals where one you know we cannot pass the signals simultaneously. That means one signal is going one way and we cannot have the signals returning from the destination at the same time. So overlapping of signals can be avoided with the help of this modulation technique. So the first advantage is the reduction in height of the antenna. That means the devices which are properly modulated, they do not require some external or a very high range antenna. So the main advantage of having this modulation process is that we do not require an external antenna as we used to have earlier. Just see, in the case of your radios or your mobile phones, we are having a built-in antenna from where we can catch the signals and send the signals. Then second is the avoidance in the mixing of signals. That means no matter how many frequencies are there, as we are well aware that we use multiple frequencies nowadays, because we have a very high bandwidth. So therefore, there is uh, not a chance of mixing of the signals. That means the mixing of frequency of signals. Then increase range of communication. That means we can send these signals to longer distances as we used to have in the earlier days. So there is no limitation of sending these signals to any possible distance. Now multiplexing is possible. Now what do you mean by multiplexing? Multiplexing means sending and receiving of signals simultaneously at the same time. So multiplexing, as of our wireless technology, we support multiplexing where we can send and receive the signals at the same time. Now the improved quality of reception. So the signals which are being sent from the sender are received to the destination in the same quality as they were sent. So there is no degradation of any sort of quality in modulation technique. Now there are three types of modulation techniques that we use. The very first type of modulation that we use is amplitude modulation. The amplitude modulation is the modulation of the carrier wave basically. So amplitude modulation is a process by which the wave signal is transmitted by modulating the amplitude of the signal. It is often called as AM and is commonly used in transmitting a piece of information through a radio carrier wave. Amplitude modulation is mostly used in form of electronic communication. So basically what amplitude is, when we modify or modulate the carrier wave rather than frequency in terms of sending the signals from one place to another. So the carrier waves which are modulated in form of the uh, you know signals or the modulated signals, then it is known as amplitude modulation. So our radio waves work on amplitude modulation. The main disadvantage of having amplitude modulation is that it is susceptible to various natural you know sort of distortions like thunderstorms, lightning, rainfall, and other types of distortions. Now, currently this technique is used in many areas of communication, such as in portable two-way radios, citizens band radio, VHF aircraft radio, and in modems for computers. So generally in very less sophisticated devices we are using amplitude modulation as of now. In the radio network, that is the transistors that we use to hear to some songs and news, they use the amplitude modulation till now. Now this is the figure for amplitude modulation. Now you can see that uh, the modulating signal is there that contains the audio waves, and this is the carrier frequency which is going down, and now this carrier signal, this carrier frequency takes up the uh, you know modulated signals. Now frequency modulation. The frequency modulation is a better technique than amplitude modification, as the frequency modulation, unlike the amplitude modification, uh, here the amplitude of the carrier is kept same, but its frequency is altered accordance with the variations. Now, in case of amplitude modification, the carrier waves were modulated, whereas the frequency was unaltered. But in case of frequency modulation, the frequency is altered, but not the carrier waves. So, the frequency that is used to send the signals, that means how much signals will be sent, or how much points will be covered in a given piece of time, that is being sent. This form of modulation was developed by American electrical engineer Edwin H. Armstrong during the early 1930s in an effort to overcome interference and noise that affect the AM radio reception. As I told you that there was a need of FM or a certain type of frequency or a certain type of frequency modulation, because as I told you that this AM is susceptible to network distortions or disturbances like your thunderstorms, lightning, rainfall, etc. So there was need, and Edwin H. Armstrong developed a new type of modulation, which was named as frequency modulation. And this frequency modulation is unaffected by the thunderstorms and rainfalls, or lightning. Now FM is better adapted than AM to the transmission of stereophonic sound. Now we can say, if you know or you hear the FM radio, then you might be knowing that uh, the amplitude modification carries less frequencies as compared to the FM frequencies. Therefore, the sound that we receive on the signals are stereophonic. They have a better reception of sound as compared to the normal uh, you know amplitude modification. Now the assigned frequencies space 200 kilohertz range from 88 to 100 megahertz. Now you can see the difference between the AM and the FM frequencies. Now this is the chart of your frequency modulation, where here you can see that the message signal is there and the carrier signal is there, and you can see that the carrier signal is quite unaffected. That means the carrier signal is, shows the same type of wavelengths as the uh, you know as they were earlier after even modulation. Now difference between AM and FM. Now AM and FM both are used to transmit data using the method of modifying a carrier signals. So we are quite clear that both these modulation techniques are used to send signals over a distance. Now the main difference between both modulations is that in frequency modulation, the frequency of the carrier wave is modified. As I told you earlier also, the in the frequency modulation, the frequency of the carrier wave is modified, whereas in the amplitude modification, the carrier wave is modified. So the difference between the amplitude modification and the frequency modulation is that in frequency modulation we modify the frequency of the carrier wave, whereas in the amplitude modification we modify the carrier wave itself. For instance, if several different sets of data are required to be transmitted using the same medium, then each set of is sent using different frequency waves. This is the process of how radio broadcasts are done. So now if we want to send several messages at the same time using the same medium, then each set off is sent using different frequency wave. So there is a large diversity in frequencies, and the frequencies of the which are required to be sent matches the frequency of the carrier waves, and therefore every frequency of the sound signal is sent through different frequency of the carrier signal. So this is the diagram to differentiate between the AM and FM. Now you can see the signal. This is the original signal, at the top, and through the amplitude modification, you can see it is changed into the signals. They are sent according to the carrier wave in amplitude modification, whereas in the frequency modulation the signals are sent according to the modulated signals. Now the third type of modulation is the phase modulation. Phase modulation is quite same as your frequency modulation, but it is a sort of combination of frequency modulation and angle modulation. That means if a certain frequency goes up and down, so the phase modulation transmits this frequency in the same manner. As you can see in the third diagram, the phase modulation, the frequency being sent is quite in the same manner as they are being sent. So this is the main advantage of having the phase modulation. Now wireless generations. Now we are studying about the, you might have heard about the 2G, 3G and 4G and 5G techniques. So now we are going to study what actually is this 1G, 3G, 4G. Now this topic focuses on the evolution and development of various generation of mobile wireless technologies, along with their significance and advantage of one over the other. Now, as we can see, these 2G, 3G, and 4G, 5G, all these terms are used in terms of your mobile technology. So, the basically the difference between 1G, 2G, 3G, and so on is that the development of technology in terms of carrying signals at a faster rate and the wide use of frequencies that it can carry over a time period. So uh, simply the G stands for generation. So whenever we say 1G, that is the generation 1, 2G is generation 2. So the G stands for generation in this case. While you connect to the internet, the speed of your internet depends on the signal strength that has been shown in alphabets like 2G, 3G, 4G. So whenever you are connecting to internet through your mobile system, suppose, then you can see uh, uh, on the home screen, top of your home screen, you can see a very tiny icon which is displaying the type of technology that you are using to connect to the internet. It might be 2G, 3G or 4G, etc. Now, each generation is defined as a set of telephone network standards which detail the technological implementation of a particular mobile phone system. So, each and every G changes 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and 4 to 5. This display the various standards which have been changed in the mobile technology. Now, as you can see, the 1G mobiles were the cordless mobiles where the distances that are covered was quite less, around in meters. Then we had 2G, type of technology where we switched over to the mobile network or the cellular network where we were only able to connect, make calls, and have some a little bit of messages. With the invent of 3G technology, we were able to communicate, we were able to send messages or chattings as well as the internet. With the invent of 4G technologies, we were provided, you know, um, telecalling, then messages, both SMS as well as MMS, then connection to the internet as well as the video calling. And the forthcoming generation of this will be the 5G technique where we are going to have the 5G technologies. Now let us study about each and every technique one by one. Now the first generation, the 1G technique. This was the first generation of cell phone technology. Now with the wireless technology, the wireless cell phone technology started from the 1G technology. the very first generation of commercial cellular network was introduced in the late 70s. So in 1970, in the late 70s, this technology was implemented, and it was fully implemented in the 80s. Now it was introduced by a company known as Telstra, which belonged to Australia. Now, in this technology, it uses the analog telecommunication standards, and therefore the speed of transmission of signals was quite less. The maximum speed of 1G is 2.4 kbps. That is quite slow as of now. Then to the 2G technique. Now the cell phone received their first major upgrade when they went from 1G to 2G. Now switching on from the 1G technique to the 2G technique was a major upgradation. The main difference between the two mobile telephone systems 1G and 2G is that the radio signals used by 1G network are analog while the 2G networks are digital. Now the major difference between the 1G and the 2G networks is that the 1G network uses analog signals, whereas the 2G technique uses the digital signals. The main motive of generation was to provide secure and reliable communication channel. It implemented the concept of CDMA and GSM, provided small data service like SMS and MMS. Now, the 2G techniques provided a little bit of text sort of information exchange, which was named as SMS or MMS, and then it provided a very you know sort of you know internet connectivity, which was known as GPRS, that has a speed of around 50 kbps or 1 mbps, 50 kbps, and later on it was using the edge technology with 2.5G generation and 2.75G generation, which was the edge technology, that is enhanced data rate for GSM evolution. So the 2G techniques um, provided not only the telecalling but also the facility of SMS and MMS and a good acceptable speed to the internet. Then came the biggest revolution in the cellular network, that is the 3G, the third generation. Now, this generation set the standard for most of the wireless technology we have come to know and love. Now, with the development of the 3G technology, we had a very good, and you can say the best reception we ever had with 1G or 2G communication. Now, browsing on the internet, email, video conferencing, and all these facilities were facilitated by the 3G technique. Now, the 3G standard utilizes a new technology called UMTS, that is the Universal Mobile Telecommunication System. Now, this network combines aspects of 2G network with some new technology and protocols to deliver a significantly faster data rate. So this technology of 3G, it provided not only the capabilities of 2G network but also transmission of data at a faster speed than the 2G network and more secured data communication network. Now 3G has multimedia services support along with streaming are more popular. In 3G, universal access and portability across the different devices type will make possible with the uh, you know uh, your PDAs, laptops as well as your telephones. So this technology has given us a very high speed of connectivity. Then we switched over to the fourth generation, that is 4G, which we are using as of now. Now 4G is a very different technology as compared to 3G. Now 4G is altogether a different technology, because 3G was a technology which was an enhancement to the 2G technology, whereas 4G is a technology which is entirely different from the 3G technology. It was made possible practically only because of the advancement in the technology in the last 10 years. Its purpose is to provide high speed, high quality, high capacity of users while improving the security and lower the cost of voice and data services, multimedia and internet over IP. Potential and current applications include amended mobile web access, IP telephony, gaming services, high definition mobile TV, video conferencing, 3D television, and cloud computing. So 4G has provided a number of applications or number of multimedia applications to us. That that includes 3D games, some 3D technology, mobile, connectivity at a very great speed, then mobile television technology where we can watch live TV, live streaming on the mobile network. Now the key technologies that have made this possible are MIMO, that is multiple input, multiple output. So you have a wide variety of frequencies that can be, transmitted by the 4G technology. And OFDM, that is orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. That means orthogonal means uh, you know a type of variety of multiplexing. That means a number of signals can be transmitted to and fro on the same communication channel. The two important 4G standards are WiMAX, that we use in our mobile phones while moving from one place to another place, and the LTE, which is also known as uh, uh, long-term evolution. And we also have a technology named as VoLTE, that is voice over LTE network. Now, it is an upgradation of the previous generation UMTS technology, and the 4G network provides a speed of over 100 Mbps at a moving speed of 100 Mbps and 1 Gbps for low mobility connection, where the signals are quite low. Then also it provides a very high rate of data transmission. And then finally we have the 5G you know technology. 5G is the forthcoming technology which is under development as of now. And what is the requirement from the 5G? That it promises significantly faster data rates, higher connection density, much lower latency, among other improvements. So it they are required to provide faster data rates. That means the speed of transmission uh, will be faster as compared to the 4G network. And they include also device to device communication, better battery consumption. As we all know that the battery consumption of the current 4G network is not quite good, but the 5G will also not only provide some faster connectivity and some other features, but also less consumption of to the battery. So the maximum speed of 5G is aimed at being as fast as 35.6 Gbps. That is 35 times faster than 4G. So the aim of developing the 5G technology is providing a technology which is 35 times faster than the 4G technique, where we can watch some videos without the buffering. So this is the end of the topics that we had to cover today. So Students, thank you all for listening it, and please do not to forget to leave your comments, and please do not forget to submit your assignments on time. Thank you. Thank you very much.